Good morning. My name is Peter Muhumuza. We have said CTO Rock, but I'm here to say what we're doing as an industry on cybersecurity. First, I would like to set the context we're in. If you look at the past 10 years, we have more users. There's no one in the room who wouldn't say that they have 10 times and more the number of users. Social media, everyone is on TikTok. TikTok wasn't there 10 years ago or so. We are saying 100 Mbps internet at less than $200,000. Yeah. About in 2008, when I joined MTN from school, we were only selling a total of 100 Mbps via satellite. Okay, so that was the whole MTN selling to all their customers. It was the biggest ISP then. Now at home, I have the same amount of capacity. Yeah. What does that tell you in terms of cybersecurity? The attack surface has expanded more than 100 times. The networks have become more complex. We have IP convergency. Yeah. We hear there are some fiber cards and mobile money is off, or we can't make phone calls, which wasn't the case. Everything has converged onto one platform. Yes, sorry. We have the payment systems. Mobile money is the thing. Everyone in the room collects money or payments from their customers via mobile money. So that means we have to integrate with so many payment aggregators. And they come for free. They come and say, we need to do this. We're going to collect for you. It's free. We're even going to test. There's a discount. I can't refuse. So we have like 10 plus people who collect our money. So what does that mean? The ecosystem is bigger and the attack surface is also increasing. Remote workers, since COVID, many people are working from home. It's a new thing. At Rock, up to now, most of our NOC people sit at home. There's no reason to be at office in Bugolobi. You're logging into a system in Nigeria. You know, same thing. Yeah. So, although working from home comes with its challenges in terms of cybersecurity. Of course, some of our companies are old. Rock is 18, 19 years now. It's hard to keep up with keep refreshing the equipment. So the equipment is old, the technology is old, so it means it takes money to rebuild. Lucky are those who are building afresh. I see them new in the room, but some of us have old networks. Of course, everyone here will tell you revenue and costs are a big challenge. Yeah. We send, of course, our revenue report to the commission. I'm sure you can see that. Maybe there are a few exceptions in red and yellow, but the rest of us, I'm sure you look at our reports. We have to drive down costs, but in challenging revenue times. So what does that mean? We have little to invest and defend ourselves. So what's happening? What are we saying? We're seeing attack scaling. Thanks to UCC, they have a tool, at least in our network. We allowed them to put a tool and they send us reports every day on top of our internal tools. Attacks are increasing every day, some small, some big. At $50, I can pay a Chinese or Russian hacker to take down a big ISP network, just $50. In 10 minutes, I take it down. So there's cybercrime as a service. Of course, there's insider threats, as mentioned earlier. We have rogue employees, people looking to make a quick buck. Of course, you've watched the movie Useful Idiots. There are people who are used to gain access to the network. I've mentioned threats from our partner ecosystems. State actors, as mentioned by the keynote speaker and the ED. And when we talk about state actors, we think China, we think Russia, not too far, just across the border. I'm very sure they want to know what's happening here. Yeah? In my consulting days, I used to work around Africa. And I used to do a lot of work in a neighboring country. And I was going there, no problem. I didn't know that the person who invited me would take my passport for vetting. Yeah? Until I changed company and went back to the same country, and they told me, you're not cleared to work here. Like, why? I'm just coming to do simple things. I'm doing some work at an ISP. So if they're worried about me, honestly, I didn't have any intentions. Isn't there a chance that they're doing the same the other way around? Yeah. So when you think of state actors, they may not want to take down the government, but they want to know what's happening. They are looking out for themselves, yeah, which we should do, but also defend ourselves. Of course, AI has made attacks much easier, but I'll show you later that it's also an advantage we can use to defend ourselves. So this is what we're saying in the industry. What we're seeing as a defense strategy, as said by many people, cybersecurity is starting to become an executive priority. It doesn't have to be a CISO. Some of us, our companies may be smaller to afford a certain level, but the role is there. Yeah, and actually some of the regulators make that happen. In the bank, it's very clear that you must have a CISO on your executive, but for example, the data protection unit is asking we must have a role of a data protection person. So that's happening, and the reports, at least when the email comes through, we share, we investigate. My CEO is here, gets a copy. We get reports from UCC and other players. Another defense strategy, we need to move from compliance to cybersecurity. Of course, this is a regulator, right? And right now, at the end of the financial year or the beginning, we send reports in. But that's not enough. The reports I can write, it's very hard for you to come and verify them. Yeah. So we need to move from compliance to cyber resilience. And as the keynote speaker said, cybersecurity has gone beyond the basic protection. It can overwhelm the basic protections. Back in the days, we just put a perimeter firewall and you're safe. Allow in, out. But people are working from home. We have so many partners. It's hard to detect with just a simple firewall. So we're seeing tools like response systems, detection and response systems, which means that there's no tool that can detect all threats. Okay, so you have to detect and respond in real time, which is very challenging. So that's why like a SOC comes in, the Security Operations Center. There are many tools being deployed by different vendors, but what we see is that the vendors are selling this to us. Yeah, we're spending money, but the teams are not yet very familiar in operating these tools and defend ourselves. So, but at least there is some shift going on. Zero trust implementations, we are seeing them happening. Of course, what's obvious, we have to secure our biggest assets, our networks, our cloud infrastructure. And another strategy is moving from tools to a culture. Cyber hygiene as a company value, training, awareness happening. I would like to commend the UCC. They invited us and our customers to come to a cyber drill. Yeah. So, and I think it's an event that's going to happen every year, which becomes now a culture, it becomes part of us. So that's what we see happening. Cooperation. We're seeing the SAT, of course, ISACA, ICT Association, all talking about cybersecurity. So that's what's currently happening. However, we've seen people, or telecoms, have seeing cybersecurity as an opportunity, not as a threat. You had the CEO of Airtel in the video. They are branding or positioning themselves as a secure choice, yeah, spam free. So now that becomes an opportunity. At Rock, we are helping our customers who may not have very skilled people or don't want to hire people, and offering them managed security as a service. So we are trying to change the narrative to make it an opportunity for us. Finally, what we're looking forward for is more investment in cybersecurity. I've said banks are aggressively recruiting for CISOs, yeah? But most of them have failed to get enough talent on the market. So they are recruiting from us, people with network background, and training them to take on these jobs. So we need more training, more investment to defend ourselves. Training and awareness, I've mentioned. I think it has to go to EXCO, like the director mentioned. They need to be aware, and thankfully they are here, which is testament that they want to be aware. Use AI and automation to defend ourselves. We can use this because it's so. If you look at a typical, we call it a SIEM, that collects logs for all this stuff. There's every second there are thousands of logs coming in. How do you analyze that practically? You need AI and automation to do that. Maybe to the team in front here, we need deeper government involvement beyond just policy. Of course, UCC has demonstrated that. Like I've mentioned, they have deployed some tools in our network. I was disappointed to hear that only 6 ISPs have the tool deployed. I would encourage everyone here to allow the tools to be deployed. That's going beyond policy. It's being practical. But my final call, which is highlighted in red, was for the ED, but he's not here. I would ask the directors to pass on the message. One of the most expensive attacks to defend yourselves against is a DDoS attack. Yeah? A DDoS attack is a distributed denial of service attack. We have experienced some smaller, but the bigger ones tend to come when we touch the anti-homosexuality bill. Some actors who don't like what we do, they just send DDoS. Yeah? Or someone wants to kill an event and they attack such an event and internet goes off, you can't send email. So a DDoS can, let's say you have 50 gigabytes of internet. Someone can send you 10 times that of capacity. Using $50 I mentioned before, they can cripple the whole internet in Uganda in a second if they want to. Now, I mentioned earlier I used to consult for some telecom companies. We sell these tools. They are north of $500,000, $1 million. Yeah? The big boys probably can defend themselves on that because they are part of big groups they can spend. But the rest of us as smaller ISPs spending $1 million on a DDoS solution, which is more or less insurance. Yeah? I'll just say, anyway, when it happens, it happens. For now, $1 million I can't afford. So I would like to re-echo the keynote speaker's message that the power is in collaboration. Let's pull together and have this tool deployed. And these tools actually are multi-tenant. Yeah? So we can install a tool at the UXP, which the UCC hosts once again, and everyone can have access to that tool. Okay? Because the customers Rock has, or Liquid, or whoever has, some are government entities, some are NGOs, some are hospitals. So if they can't operate, they are attacking the nation. So this is why I'm saying UCC or the ministry should come and overcome this cost burden on the most danger we face, which is distributed denial of service. So this is my call to the Commission that the CERT is good and the honeypots are good, but I think we need to deploy a sector denial of service solution for the telecom industry. I thank you.
Uganda Communications Commission.